Hello, my name is Flor Montero. I am a conference interpreter and I'm also a psychotherapist. I would like to start thanking Josh and Nora for the kind invite. It is truly an honor to be a part of this selected group of incredible interpreters who are sharing so much knowledge today with all of us. So thank you for that. And the reason I was invited is because aside from being an interpreter with more than 25 years of experience in the field, conference interpreting, I am also a psychotherapist. I have had a private practice for more than 10 years. And so when I was invited, I suggested we speak about something that we're aware that exists. It's been published a lot, but what do we do about it? The question is, what do we do about it? So that's what we'll try to answer in my presentation. The title of my presentation is Avoiding the Scars, Your Guide to Coping with Vicarious Trauma when Interpreting. Before we do anything, a disclaimer, if you've had an experience for more than 3 months after an assignment in which you have no peace, you're restless, you have anxiety, we'll speak about the symptoms later, it is important that you seek professional help. But in the cases of simple trauma or vicarious trauma, as we will call it here, there are things that we can do, and I'll share them with you today, but do look after yourself. Let's do an exercise to begin. I would like to invite you to either close your eyes or keep them open, whatever is more comfortable for you. I'm going to ask you a question. If the limit, the boundary between yourself and others, between yourself and the rest of the world, if it were a fence, a wall, what type of fence would it be? How did you imagine it? What is it made of? What is the material? What is its height? Does it look well taken care of? Does it surround you completely? And sense, do you feel comfortable inside of your fence? Thank you very much. You can now open your eyes. And what have we done here? Well, the imagination is a gateway to our unconscious mind, because the things that we imagine, they speak of our mental representations, and our mental representations show the things that are happening within our psyche. So just pay attention to the fence you imagined and see if it was perhaps too low or too high. Was it easy for people to jump and get around it? Or perhaps some people cannot imagine a fence, or on the other side, there are people that imagine not so much of a fence, but like a prison, something that is right up their nose, and there's no light, it's very high. And most people cannot imagine the fence surrounding them completely. And all of this speaks about your ability to set limits. And why is this important when we speak of trauma? Because sometimes it is important for us to separate our own personal experience to what is happening to others. So that is why this is going to be relevant when we do the exercise later. Just pay attention and see what's interesting about these fence that you imagined. But Ogden, who is a world expert on trauma, defines trauma as any experience that is stressful enough to leave us feeling helpless, frightened, overwhelmed, or profoundly unsafe. That is considered to be trauma, because many people might say, well, I have never experienced trauma. I have not been war zone. I have not been molested. That's what people usually imagine trauma to be, but trauma is more common that we usually imagine. And many people don't even imagine that they're carrying trauma in their bodies, in their cellular memory, in their muscles, because that's where trauma is experienced. And the thing about trauma is that there are certain degrees. It can be not so disturbing, but there are certain cases in which there is an actual separation of your mind and your body, and your body all of a sudden starts feeling anxious and there are mental intrusions of images, but you have no story that you can connect to it. And so it's a situation that it's highly underdiagnosed and not treated as it should. Vicarious trauma, and I'm presenting you here some papers on the matter, some articles, is something that interpreters can live, because when we are repeating the words, sometimes literally, or when we're speaking about threatening situations, the pain of others, we have a shared humanity, so it hurts us. And if it's too intense, too prolonged, or it's too close to home, because sometimes we need to interpret things that, you know, concern us. And if that is the case, you might feel threatened. And this is what we call vicarious trauma, which is something that affects the performance and well-being of interpreters by experiencing or internalizing someone else's trauma. Some symptoms of vicarious trauma include anxiety, burnout, compassion fatigue, lingering feelings of anger, rage or sadness, bystander guilt, shame, feelings of self-doubt, loss of hope, pessimism, cynicism, distancing, numbing, detachment, and difficulty in maintaining personal and professional boundaries, amongst others. And people experience the same situation differently according to their own history. According to attachment theory that was developed by John Bowlby, we have all developed a different type of nervous system. And this has to do with our childhood experiences. The better care our caregivers gave us when we were growing up helped us build a strong nervous system that can take up more. But there are some other people who had an erratic type of care, or there was neglect, or there was violence, there was drug abuse or whatever in a household. Then the nervous system is very prone to deregulate, to react. That is to say that the nervous system is always going into a state of either fight or flight or freeze. So we all have different degrees of responding. And the more affected your nervous system has been, not only by childhood experiences, but also if there's been trauma in your life, accidents, losses, etc., then the nervous system is more fragile, more frail. So all of our interventions are related to helping the nervous system regulate. That is the word that we need to explore, self-regulation, which is we can read a situation and let our body know it is safe here, or it is not safe here and you need to do something. But it has to be something that is realistic, because when there's been trauma, you might be reading danger where there is none. And so there's no peace, your body doesn't rest, and it can affect your physical, mental, emotional health. What are we going to do about that? I am presenting here in the main conference an Ericksonian exercise that is going to be 10 minutes long, and it covers the bases. It's hypnosis. That's my specialty. I'm a hypnotherapist. But if people, because I know that there are many myths around hypnosis, if people don't feel comfortable about it, in the Power Pack, I have included 4 other exercises which are designed to be practiced before a triggering assignment, during the assignment, which is really interesting. I designed it, I recorded it, and then I did it myself, and I thought this is really powerful. This is something that nobody taught me, and boy, it could make a difference. It is a mindfulness exercise in which you will practice interpreting a fragment of a conference and paying attention to your body reactions, to your emotions, and providing yourself a non-judgmental, open attitude. And if it's an experience that might feel overwhelming, then a sense of kindness and compassion. And if you practice it, you'll see that it does make a difference. And even though you might not be fully paying attention to your body because you're still interpreting, your attention is divided, even if it's just for a small fraction of a second that it comes in, the kindness kicking, the mindfulness practice gets into your experience, changes the outlook. It's really helpful. And well, anyway, and there's also an NLP, and neuro linguistic programming exercise for before a triggering assignment, a compassion-focused therapy exercise for before, and an EFT, emotional freedom technique, or tapping exercise for after a triggering event. Okay, it's happened, I'm not feeling well, what do we do about it? We tap. So those are all in the power pack. The Ericksonian intervention. All forms of psychotherapy are looking for the same thing, to get into your unconscious mind, and from there to help provide change or healing. Psychoanalysis does this by freedom of association, of the use of the words. Body psychotherapy does it by physical exercise that affects the nervous system. Ericksonians, we use the imagination. Imagination is our tool, as you saw in the beginning. I was doing a small diagnosis with the imagination, but it's also a very powerful intervention. There's been studies of the mind of high-performing athletes before, when they are just practicing their sport, and then when they're only imagining, they're practicing. And it turns out that imagining and doing for the brain, there's no difference. So whatever you use your imagination for, you are affecting your body. Imagination or imagining things, it's a command to your body. So we use this power for several things. We'll use it to tap into the power of the unconscious mind, to help with the healing of wounds, to recover our lost energy or of life force, we'll call it libido, as psychoanalysts call it. And we will also help digest stuck emotions and revamp our fence. And whatever you do with your imagination is a lab for things that will happening outside in the world. So you'll see it can be very transformative. Before I leave you with the exercise, because it's 10 minutes long, I will conclude my presentation here and leave you with the exercise. And then afterwards, please, I'll be waiting for you in the area in which we'll be chatting to hear about your experience, your questions, your insights. But before we go into that, as reality creators, because we do create our reality through our thoughts, through our imagination, it is important for us to have what we call the symbol of power. The symbol of power is just an image that represents for you your unconscious mind, your ability to change. And if you're more spiritual, some people might like to imagine it as the force that is making your heart beat and is providing the seeds, the energy they need to grow. The important thing here is it's not a matter of faith or of imagining, because I've already explained how important or how powerful the imagination is. So you'll think about, when I speak about this universal wisdom that lives inside of you and has the power to help you and transform you, what do you imagine that universal wisdom to be like? And here I have some pictures of what my patients usually go to when we're speaking about the symbol of power of your universal wisdom. So let's jump right into it. Let's update that fence. And thank you very much for practicing with me. I will be waiting for your feedback and enjoy the experience. With your eyes closed or open, whatever is more comfortable for you, start paying attention to your breathing, to how the air is coming in and out in this space in which you are preparing to work with yourself in a protected and comfortable way. And as you listen to the sounds in the street, as you listen to the sounds inside this room, and as you listen to the sound of my voice, the more in touch you get with your inner self through your breathing. Your breath, which is the bridge that communicates you to the outside, to other people, to animals, to plants, to the sea, to the sun, to the stars, to the cosmos, and to the whole universe. Your breath is also connecting you to your inner experience, to your organs, bones, muscles, tissues, DNA, And in the deepest part of you, it is contacting you with your own universal wisdom, just as you imagine it or are imagining it represented by your symbol of power. Your universal wisdom is awakening, expanding, and it is covering you completely. Put this work safely in the hands of your universal wisdom. Ask it to start doing several chores for you at this moment. Firstly, and through your breath, which is the instrument with which it does its healing work, it is healthily digesting all the stuck emotions of your recent history. Your breath is digesting all the stuck emotions of your remote history, digesting all the stuck emotions of your whole life, digesting that, as with any digestion, you're keeping what is good for you as nutrients that serve your well-being, and you are automatically expelling through your exhalation everything that is no longer useful. Anything that would generate discomfort is coming out as a black smoke through your exhalation automatically, leaving you completely. Your breath is also traveling back to all the footsteps of your personal history, and from all of them it is recovering for you your own life force. Life force that could have been stuck in situations or with people. Life force that is coming back to you and is becoming available for your body to function well, to transform into different emotions, to live your life as you want to live it, enjoying it. And if there were any emotional wounds that someone or something had inflicted on you, or that you had inflicted on yourself, and I don't know how you are imagining those wounds to look like. Maybe they look like wounds made by a sharp object, like blows or like scratches. If it is more comfortable for you to imagine those wounds outside of your body, as if projected on a blurry screen, do that. I don't know how you imagine those wounds. Maybe they look fresh and open, or maybe they have stitches or a bandage or a cast. However you imagine those, your emotional wounds, your breath is reaching all of them, and with much love, with much care, very slowly, it is healing them all. Because all of them, really all of them, no matter how big or small, no matter how terrible they may seem, all wounds heal when we let them heal. When we let them heal by no longer sticking our fingers in them and pulling off the scab. And I'm sure that sooner than you realize, you will find that all of your wounds have healed and scarred, because once healed, a wound is nothing more than that. It is just a scar that no longer hurts you. A scar that reminds you that you survived, that you grew stronger, and that there are things you can do differently for your own well-being every day. That's it. Very good. And now bring to your mind the image that represents your personal boundaries, the image of the fence or wall between you and others, between you and the rest of the world, and see what it looks like in your imagination. What is your fence made of? Is it made of a strong or a fragile material? Do you even see one? Or would it appear that the concept of boundaries is not familiar to you at all? How high is it? Is it easy to climb over this fence? Does it surround you completely? Or is it so fortified and high that not even the light can get through? But most of all, look closely and see. Does it go all the way around you? Does it have your back? Ask your universal wisdom that as of this moment, it starts revamping and updating, reshaping your fence for your own well-being, for every life experience, both personally and professionally, for your simultaneous or your consecutive interpretations, and for everything you do and everywhere you go automatically. Ask it to help you keep a strong fence, to keep you safely protected inside of it, no matter what happens on the outside, no matter what people say or do, no matter what you hear or say as an interpreter, so that your assignments are comfortably protected for you. Ask it to transform the fence using whatever material, color, shape, or style, but just making certain that it surrounds you completely, that is sufficiently strong but without exaggerating it, that the space inside of it is comfortable for you, that it has a good door or window so that all things that have to enter and leave your fence can do so, and you can have a good and healthy view of the outside for your own well-being. In fact, everything that is no longer useful is now leaving the inside of your fence through your exhalation. We are also expelling out through your exhalation everything that does not belong to you, including other people's expectations. And inside your wall only remains what is truly yours and is good for you. All those things are being accommodated inside your renewed fence so that you feel comfortable within it, and so that it continues constantly adapting to each moment and life situation automatically, as you may need it, to keep you protected, calm, peaceful, strong, and full of hope that everything will be sorted out in the hands of the universal wisdom. To conclude, talk to your symbol of power. Tell it that you will do your part to prepare for your assignments and that it takes care of everything else for you to work safely. Ask it to look after you so that you can be a vehicle of communication while remaining in your center and with mental clarity and good energy to continue cooperating with the welfare of people through the good use of your words and for the creation of better understanding amongst people. That's it. Very good. If there is anything else in need of attention at this moment, ask your universal wisdom to give you the image of the color that you need to heal it. And the first color that pops up, that is the one. Let that color bathe you completely, fully covering you, healing and changing whatever needs to be changed in you for your own well-being now. And a pleasant sensation begins to arise, or if it was already there, it becomes stronger, which is the sign that this process of healing and protection has already begun, and it continues automatically with each breath as long as it is necessary, without you having to do anything in particular and without you being able to stop it either. Very good. And keeping the pleasant sensations that you have at this time, taking a long breath and at your own pace, exhale it and reorient yourself in the space, feeling much calmer and strengthened.